Hi everyone, I am super excited to share with you today that we have 33 sprouts. And I went ahead and I planted most of our sprouts in cups with dirt. But I also wanted to share with you how I did that just in case you decide that at some point in time you would like to do some planting. So let me show you some of our sprouts that I pulled out of our bag and out of our cotton ball. And you can see with this one that there is some roots. We have a stem coming out of the roots. And we have two leaves that are big, and then we have two little baby leaves getting ready to start. So this plant has some roots, a stem, and 4 leaves. And this one is a little bit bigger. It has a whole lot of roots. And you can see that it has 2 more leaves growing next to the big leaves. These leaves are a little easier to see. And then this one was pretty cool. And you can really see how a sunflower grows out of the seed, because this sunflower plant is still connected to its seed. So the first thing that grew out of this seed were its roots, and this one has a really long root base, and then the stems grow out of the root, and then the leaves grow. So everything got way too big for this little tiny seed that it all popped out. So the roots came out and they tried to find the sun, and then the stem grew out of the roots, and then the leaves grew out of the stem. And let's see what happens when we pull the seed off. Whoops. So I have the seed here. Whoop, it's very slippery because it's still wet. So we have the seed here and it's still a little opened. We'll open up the seed and see what it looks like inside. Oh, it's kind of sticky. And then let's see how many leaves this guy has. I think it only has 2 leaves, 2 big leaves, but I see 2 little teeny tiny baby leaves starting to grow in there. So I'm gonna plant these 3 sprouts in my cup, but first I wanted to share with you our sunflowers that we grew in the pot with the dirt. And we only have 1 little sprout so far. We didn't get any more sprouts, so we'll see if the other 2 come up, because I think I planted 3 in here, but we only have 1 out of the 3 that grew. But this plant grew outside, and it's been very rainy and kind of cold here. But these guys were inside of my house, in my window with the sun, and they weren't exposed to the cold weather. So they grew a lot faster and a lot bigger. This guy looks like he's just starting to grow. All right, so let's get started. The first thing I did, and if you are going to plant, you need an adult to help you poke a hole in the bottom of your cup, because your water needs to drain out of the dirt, because you don't want your dirt too wet. Remember, we said that we just want some moist dirt. And then I'm going to plant my 3 sunflower sprouts in this 1 cup. So again, I have my little cup for my dirt, and as I got deeper into my bag of potting soil, it got moister. So it's not so bad today. So I'm gonna put my cup over my bag of dirt to pour my dirt in, because I don't want my dirt all over my countertop in my kitchen. And oh, I'm in my kitchen again today because it's raining. So on day number 10 of planting our sprouts, it's raining outside. That's no fun. So here's my cup of dirt, and first I'm gonna poke 1 hole, and then I'm gonna get this guy, because he's standing up nice and tall and straight, so I can just put his roots right down there really deep, and then I want to gently push the dirt down. And then I'm gonna get this one who's standing up nice and tall, and then I'm gonna put him in there. Oh, don't want him to go too deep in there, because you still want him to be able to breathe. If I pushed his leaves and his stem down in there too far, it might get too wet and get soggy and then possibly moldy, and we don't want that. So I did have some sprouts that I couldn't plant because some of them did get moldy. I guess they were in the bag too long, or maybe the cotton ball was too wet and it didn't dry up a little bit. Not quite sure what happened, but we did lose some sprouts. But I think 33 is pretty good. So this one's a little hard because you see at the bottom, his roots are growing up and his stem is curled up. So now somehow I have to try to figure out how to get the roots and the stem in there without the leaves going in too. So that one's going to be really close to the dirt. There we go. So I'll just push everybody down. And there we go. We planted some sunflowers. So I'll put this here, and then we'll take a look at some of these sunflowers. So here's some sunflowers. In here I have a sunflower with 2 leaves, and then a sunflower with 4 leaves. And this one's really tall. This one has 4 leaves, and it looks like it's getting ready to get more. So we'll see if this one's in the middle. So I'll try to keep track of this one's growth to see if this one gets the biggest first. And that's another thing that I wanted to do. So I also wanted to measure. So here I have a ruler, and I'm going to measure one of the sprouts in inches. I actually wanted to do that before I put them all in here. So I haven't wet my dirt yet, so it's okay. So all of my dirt is still just a little moist, but it's still really fluffy. So it'll be okay if I just pull out one of our sprouts. I won't hurt anything. So I will measure from the root, where the root just starts to come out, to the top of the plant. And let's see how tall it is on day number 10. Let's see. So I think it is about 2.5 inches, maybe. Almost. We'll say about 2 inches if I straighten out this leaf. Yep, it's 2 inches tall on day number 10. And on day number 5, there's a picture on Schoology of one of the sprouts. It was about 1 inch long. So it grew 1 inch in 5 days. So that's pretty fast growth. But these guys are going to be mammoth sunflowers. So they're going to get taller than me. They could get to be up to 15 feet tall. I don't think I've ever seen a sunflower that tall, but I will just hope that they at least get to be as tall as me, or maybe even taller. That would be kind of cool to see that. So our sprout on day number 10 is 2 inches long. And in about 5 to 10 more days, I will come out and I'll measure them again and see how tall they've gotten. So let me make a little hole for this one again. I have to be very gentle because now I have 2 other sunflowers in there with this guy. And then I'll cover him up. And then these guys are going to live, I haven't quite decided if they're going to live on the side of my house or out back, because if I put them out back, they may not get as much sun as they need, but I'll be able to see them better. If they're on the side of my house, they will get a lot more sunlight, but I won't be able to watch them grow. So it was actually really fun to watch them grow in my window. I was able to see them every day, and I could see they got a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger every day. I think I might put them out back at first and see how it goes. And if they aren't getting enough sun and they aren't growing well, then I'll put them on the side of the house. But I would really like to watch them grow. So I'm hoping that when I do put them out back, they will get enough sun and they will grow very well, and I'll still get to see them every day. I hope you enjoy planting sunflowers with me, and I will keep posting the growth of them, and I'll keep measuring the growth of our sunflowers about every 5 to 10 days. I think what our sunflowers need next is a little drink of water. So I have just a big cup of water here, nothing fancy. I just grabbed a cup out of my cabinet and put some water in it, and now I'm just gonna give each of my little sunflowers a drink, just a little drink, because I don't want to give them too much water, especially now that they have a new home that they have to get used to. These plants are not used to being in dirt. But the good thing about them being in dirt is that the soil has nutrients in it that they need to grow big and strong. Plants need food too. They don't just need water. And when plants are in dirt, the dirt has nutrients or food for the plants. They also need sunlight. Sunlight is very important for the plants to grow. So we need to make sure that our plants get enough water, enough food, and enough sunlight. But not too much water. If plants get too much water, they get soggy, and then the roots rot, and then they just won't grow. So it's very important that I don't give them too much water right now, and I make sure that all of the water drains down into the soil, and I will give them a little more water once all of this water has drained down into the soil some more, because I want to make sure that all of the water, or I want to make sure that all of the dirt is wet, but I don't want to make it too wet. So I'll keep my eye on it and see if they need a little extra drink of water in a little while. But I can see that the water that I gave this plant has all drained down into the dirt. But I can see through this cup, and I can see that the dirt down the bottom is still very dry. And then here is a cup that you can see through too. So the water at the top of this plant has drained through, and we can see where it's wet here, but all of this dirt is dry. So I will continue to slowly give these plants some water. And I will meet you back here for the next time that I measure them. Until next time, goodbye.